Hello, everyone. Um, this is Dan, Dan Kupka, also known as Dr. DK. It's December 31st, 2023, going into 2024, and the fans are starting to spin up. So I don't know how much time I might have before I decide to close this off, because it's going to get this laptop will get really hot. I won't have chat visible, so sorry if I'm not answering chat, or any comments, yada yada yada. But I've had some things happen, or I've seen some things happen over the past few months, and there was an idea that came to mind, and for those of you who can see this in the window here, I built a little patch or a sound in this software instrument. The patch is called DPK-home. I just figured I'd proceed it with my initials to identify it from everything else. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat. I just ate something and it's really spicy. Anyway, so I performed or played this sound or patch at open mic this past Thursday, and it's got a few parts. Oh, here we go. It's got a few parts that happen to play at the same time, shall we say. There's one part that's a sequenced series of notes that just plays by itself, and then I have some parts that play together that I activate with the keyboard. Sounds kind of like that. We've got a few banks of oscillators in this modular synthesizer. That's what each of these three groups here are. And for one group, I've got it essentially going it through a filter or two, and that is being triggered by the sequencer down here. And then triggered by the keyboard, I've got not just three oscillators, but three oscillators, one with two waveforms, being a sawtooth and a square wave. And the sawtooths are set apart each by an octave. So one is a high octave, one is a normal, or in tune octave, and one is a lower octave. And also being passed through a filter that's modulated by an LFO, a low frequency oscillator. So I'll play that again. Hopefully you can hear that above the fans. So, yeah, I'll play the sequence for you. Oops, try that again. I'll turn off the microphone here. So yeah, that's a sound that I created. To go through again, so I have there are three banks of three oscillators here. One one bank of one oscillator is outputting a sawtooth wave into this frequency filter. And in turn, that is being the output of the frequency filter from that sawtooth is going into a ring modulator that in turn is being output to the amplifier here. There are essentially two amplifiers side by side. So I have the sequenced output going into the first amplifier, and I have that octaved pad sound output into the second amplifier here. And so both of those, in various ways, are being modulated, in a couple of different ways, are being modulated by the LFO. The ring modulator that is affecting the sequenced notes is being modulated by the LFO, and the frequency filter on the bank of octave pad sounds is being modulated by the LFO as well, both using a triangle wave here. As I hover over it, you can see it being highlighted, or rather not disappearing, but right where the arrow is, you see two cables or wires coming out of the triangle, going into the filter here, and going into the ring modulator over here for the frequency of the ring modulator. And that's basically it. Apart from making sure that the notes are set appropriately for the sequencer, it's just different notes in G scale, basically. Even though it's rooted at C, the C note, I have it set to effectively play more like a G major 7 sequence. Bum 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 bum. I hummed horribly. But all of that sound is then going into this dual delay and chorus. Actually, excuse me. The dual delay is taking both outputs of taking the outputs of both VCAs for all of that sound to come through. So they're both sets of sound are dual delayed. The chorus, however, is only acting upon the pad sound, that octave pad sound. And yeah, that's it. And the mod wheel, I could have that modulating something, but I do not. But that's okay. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. And as far as the idea of home is concerned, they say, wherever you go, there you are. At least, well, I don't know who said it first, but I know that's a saying that I've heard. Home is where the heart is. And there are a lot of people in the world who are, without getting too much into it myself, but there are a lot of people who are trying to find their homes in the world. And so I hope that 2024 brings peace, hope, happiness, stability, and for those who are in need to get home, or to have a home to go to in the first place. So yeah, my laptop is probably frying at this point, so I'm gonna call it. If this was, I might stream again a little later, but I hope you all appreciated the little modular lesson that was the nickel and dime tour of that sound. And for those of you who are celebrating tonight, please do so safely, and if you need to, have a designated driver, Uber, Lyft, yada yada. Alright everybody, well, Happy New Year, and I will see you on the flip side.